Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, July 12th, 2021, and I'm here for my weekly cross-stitching update. Back on schedule today. I hope that I can be relatively consistent the rest of the summer, but you never know. Summer has a way of kind of throwing plans in there at the last minute, so if I am not consistent at some point in the future here, just know I'm enjoying my summer and I'll be back as soon as I can. So let's dive in. I don't have quite as much progress to show because I did film on Wednesday last week, but I still have quite a few things to show, as well as plans for this week. So first I'm going to share the box of goodies that the Fat Quarter Shop sent me right before I went on vacation. So it's been a couple weeks now, but some of it I'll be keeping and some of it I'll be sharing with you guys probably in a future giveaway. I won't be doing anything today, but I'm gonna start gathering things for a potential giveaway in the future. So there's a few quilty things among the Stars Again block of the month quilt. I actually kind of like this one. I think there was at least one quilty one in here. I was thinking, yeah, I should probably keep that. So this one has a lot of stars on it. I thought that was pretty. So if you like quilts, there might be some things in here that might tickle your fancy. I guess that's the phrase I was looking for. This one's called Festive, and it has sizes for table runner, crib, lap, and queen size quilts. So that's nice. A lot of different triangles as well. And there were some Oregon Trail template set. 3 templates for the Oregon Trail quilt block from a scrapbook of quilts. So this is like these are these templates to be able to cut out the pieces for this particular quilt, which is kind of cool. And I don't think that particular quilt pattern was in here, but it's kind of cool. So maybe at some point I can figure that out with a different type of quilt. This one's called Embark. And it's, you know, this particular iteration, I guess, is blues and whites and reds. So it looks kind of patriotic. And there's also a mini cutting mat, which is super cute. It's like a double-sided mini cutting mat for making small pieces. I'll definitely be keeping this because the quilt I'm most interested in trying next is got a bunch of fiddly little bits, which sounds fun to me because I'm a glutton for punishment. And the last quilt thing was this Kaleidoscope Book, which is really fun. I think this is the one I'm keeping because there's actually some cross stitch in here too, I think. But I'm not sure if yeah, we'll see. So there's some pictures. Did some pretty pictures of the quilt and the pillows that you can make with the main pattern. And this one does have a lot of fiddly triangles too, which is maybe why I like it. And it's very colorful. Here's a few more pictures from their photo shoot. And then they also had, oh, more photo shoot. It's very colorful, very pretty. And they have a cross stitch pattern in here too. More photo shoot. It's all the same pattern, but you can see how they've made different pillows with it. So here is a cool and a warm version of a Kaleidoscope cross stitch pattern, which goes along with the quilt. And I believe I'm kind of behind on social media because of our vacation recently, and I think I saw somewhere that they might be doing a stitch along with this one now or soon. So if you're interested in stitching along with them on this pattern, maybe hop over to their blog or YouTube channel and see what that's gonna be like. And they actually have, let's see, they have these two, the cool version and the warm version. They have the DMC written out for those, but they also have 6 more color conversions that are already suggested for you. You could obviously do 3 of anything that you like, which makes this kind of a fun one to be able to just play with fancy floss in your stash that you're not quite sure what to do with, but looks nice together. So I might have to do that at some point. And here is some photo shoot, and this one's showing the quilt next to the cross stitch. So anyways, that's fun. I'll probably be keeping that, and at some point I might work on that Kaleidoscope cross stitch with some fat floss for my stash, but I'm not going to join them right now just because I have too many other things that I'm excited about doing in the summer here, and I'm still working on flea market flowers, so I don't want to overbook myself with extra things like that. There are a couple other things here, finishing dots in 1.5 inch size and 3/4 inch size. So that's kind of fun. I think these are for, like, you know, wrapping things around boards and then sticking them down nicely in a way that is acid free. So that's cool. Can always use stuff like that. And then they had a few patterns, which will most likely be coming your way. They had well, I might keep this one because I've been keeping all of these stitch cards because at some point it might come in handy for cards or my kids to stitch, or decorating, you know, decorating these bags would be fun to stitch on them too. So I'll probably keep that one, but these ones will eventually be coming your way. Here's Gratitude and Grace and Hands and Heart to God, which are the last 2 Prim Stitch series. So I'll be giving these away. These ones might go in a giveaway when I finish this one, because I usually give away the extra one then too anyways. So I'll probably, obviously not today, nothing's being given away today, but those ones will be yours eventually. And I also have another Flea Market Flowers, which I'll be giving away at a future date as well. So that's fun. Oh, and they also had 3 project bags. So they have a new style of project bag, it looks like, because I got these from them along with one more that's, I think, even bigger. And these are, I've been using these two. They're like an up and down gingham plaid looking thing, which I've been using and I like. And then they have 3 more here that are the same size, I believe, as this one that I've been using for all my travel stitching. So that these are the same size as the one I've been using for my travel stitching. They hold 3 or 4, you know, travel projects in the way I do it anyways. But there's different colors. There's green and red and gray. So those are fun. A new pattern, and they are in this mesh, kind of a plasticky feeling mesh, so you can stitch on it if you want. It could be fun to like cross stitch some little motif in the middle here of 1 or 2 of these, or all of them, you know. That could be fun. I think I won't be giving those away. I might be keeping 1 or 2 of them and gifting 1 or 2 depending on how many she wants to my sister, because she was very interested in this project bag when in this one when I had it with me when I visited her last, and so I'll probably offer that to her. Those are harder to ship since they're large, so I'll probably just keep those local. But that was fun. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, either stay tuned for a future giveaway, or you can go take a look at that corner shop. All right, so okay, so now for the fun stuff. Not that that wasn't fun. Now for the progress and plans. So this past week, I did a tiny bit of travel stitching, but really not a lot. I had one instance of stitching in front of the TV, I think, and I decided to work on this because I have my Prim Stitch series one that I was hoping to start this week, and I didn't, because when I had my one opportunity to stitch, it wasn't yet started, and it needed, they're like, okay, we're starting. So I just kind of grabbed this and ran in there because I knew I had some borders to stitch. So I worked on that in that one opportunity, and even that wasn't very much, but I did a tiny bit. This is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Cozy Cafe Club, which is their mystery stitch along for 2021. And last time I did have the Strawberry Lemonade finished, but I did work a little bit on the border. So I finished this last lace bit and parked that for next time, and then did a little bit of white here on the border. And there's this coral color as well along the edge, and then there's some more of this, the corner thing, and then this bit is all down here as well. So that will be coming. So I might just keep plugging away at this for travel stitching until that border is finished, just so it's ready to go on the 25th when the next one comes out. And whenever I finish those borders, then I'll start my Prim Stitch series. I may try starting the Prim Stitch series just to get the first stitch or two in, so that when I do have an opportunity to grab and go, it's ready. So I might have my act together this week. We'll see. I also did get a chance to work on my temperature typography as well in the car to and from church yesterday. So I got the letter J finished on July. It has not been quite as hot as June was and predicted so far. Doesn't look like we're going to get any more triple digits in the month of July, so we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. So here is where my temperature typography is now. This is one of my patterns in my Etsy shop, along with other temperature pieces. And this is on 28 count, 1/1, full crosses, in kind of a pale blue even weave. So J had 3 different colors, but they were kind of mixed in together, back and forth. The highest was 99, so I didn't have any triple digits this time either, like these brighter reds are. So as much as I don't want to live through 110 degree weather, I would hope that July or August has at least one day with my highest color of 110 or more, just to do it. Because I did get to the lowest purple in January and March, so I want to be able to get to the highest too. That's kind of my goal on these pieces, is to make it to the highest and lowest ends of the range at least once. So that's fun. We'll see what this next week brings. I think this past week was supposed to have, I think Thursday was supposed to be like 105, but then we had a bunch of clouds roll in and it just made it humid and high 90s instead, which is, I don't know if that's better or not, but I didn't get the 105 color on my temperature thing. So that's all right. It's fun to work on that once every week or two. So now that May is over, May is the shortest month letter-wise, I should be able to do it stitch on it at least once a week and have something to show for the rest of the year. For June and July, it was about once a week. I could work on a letter and show you, and then moving forward after that, all the months have more letters. So I may even have 2 letters to show you in those months coming up. So I didn't work on this since you saw it last, but I will be working on it today. So I thought I'd bring it to show you. This is my Buttons and Beads kit for Mill Hill Monday. Since it's Monday, I'll be working on this today instead of my full coverage daily piece. So I'll just show you my starting point here. This is what it looked like last time, but this is my starting point, and I'll be pulling out the next color, whatever that one is right there. So I'll be doing that symbol and starting it wherever it lands. I don't know what color it is yet. I don't know if it's a bead or a floss, or if I could finish it in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a surprise. So these are fun to work on. Looking forward to that later today. Maybe since I tell you, I won't forget. A lot of times I'll get my daily piece out and then my full coverage piece, and I'll sit down and do a stitch or two, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Mill Hill Monday. So now that I'm filming again, Monday morning, maybe I'll remember that my Mill Hill needs to come out today. So this is my daily piece I'm referring to. This is Waterfall in Yosemite by Golden Kite. It's the mini version. Thomas Moran, I believe, is the artist / photographer. I don't remember what this is, but somebody asked me in my comments last week, and I haven't been able to answer yet. I'm doing this 65 stitches a day, and somebody asked, or on at least 65 stitches every day. Somebody asked why 65? What made me pick that number? And that is because I'm doing this for the Full Coverage Fanatics challenge on Facebook. That's 21,000 stitches in 2021. So when I calculated out how many stitches per day I would need to do to get to 21,000 by the end of the year, it was roughly 60 stitches. I think it was just under like 58 or 59. So I figured, okay, 60 stitches a day on average will get me to that 21,000 stitches in 2021 goal. And then when I threw in Mill Hill Monday, I took a day out of every week. So then the average bumped up to 65 stitches on the days that I'm working on it. So that's where I got that number. And here is where I got to in my progress. So this is on 18 count Aida, with 2 strands, full crosses, and I finished the top row of pages. Yay! That's such a nice milestone. I'm so excited. As you can see, hopefully, I filled in more of this area, and the page break is like right here. So there's a few rows now into the next page, as well as like all of this, there's a few rows into the next page. But I did some of this color. This is what I'm working on right now. And the mountains and waterfall are kind of down here. So there's, in some places up to 20 stitches deep, that's still sky, but I think it varies along the way. So I won't get to the mountains. Actually, there is a little bit of mountains. Like, so there's some stitches right here and at the very tip here that are not sky. So since I'm working across top to bottom, left to right, picking symbols now, there will probably be the start of some more non-sky colors when I hit these edge points, when those are the next tallest color. So we'll start to see some so these are some rocks right here. So we'll start to see some more outlines of rocks along the top there, and which will be nice to get some definition to see how much more sky there is left to fill in, because that's kind of my goal for the end of the year. I would love to see the sky finished. That would be really fun. So far I'm enjoying that. I'm currently in blues, which makes it a lot more enjoyable. I'll probably get to some whites this week as well, which is less enjoyable, but knowing that I can stop after 65 stitches is a nice break from the white when I'm in the white days. Because then I know, okay, I'll just finish this row and then I can be done and I can go work on some color. Because I love color in my stitching. So the focus pieces I worked on this week since I talked to you last. So I talked to you on Wednesday and I wanted to work on my letter L fairy just a little bit more. And I did. I put in one more length of thread. This is for my niece. This is the third one I'm doing for my nieces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nieces, and then my daughter will get one as well. She'll be the last one because she's the youngest. So meanwhile, I'll be working on them for my nieces. And this is my third one. So here is where I got to. This is on the called for 32 count water lily linen, 2/2. There's a slub right there. I might try taking that out at some point, but we'll see how it covers up with like the vines and things. And I'm doing mostly my own colors. So I had one more length of Highland that I really felt like I wanted to put in last time, Color and Cotton Highlands. And it's really pretty purpley gray color, and that's how far I got. So in just the little bit I wanted to do before I moved on to my other projects. So this will come out again probably in September. I'll go back to working on everything at least once a day. So I'll keep filling this in and then I'll work on all the vines and beads and wings and things. So it's fun. I like working on this one. So that was nice. I got my goal met. Since the Monday and Tuesday that I had this scheduled last week didn't get as much stitching time as I'd hoped. I really wanted that last little bit of stitching to kind of make it feel like I made a better amount of progress. So, and then I moved on to my Summer Cross by Jan Lynn. These are, I mentioned last time, these used to be sold as kits, but now you can find them as patterns online several different places. So I have 3 of these seasons in kits, and one was a pattern I had to kit up myself. So this one is a kit. I updated my cards so that they're all kind of tied on here rather than just looped through, so that they don't fall off and they're a little easier to use. I'm doing kit fabric for the kit ones. I'm just using what they gave me. So this is on 14 count white Aida. And here is where I got to, which I'm pretty happy with. I worked on this for a day and a half because I did a little bit on my letter L fairy. But my goal was to get to the top, and I did. So I had this green and this pink done before, so I did one strand of this green, one strand of this brown, and then I was able to work on the top row of letters in backstitching. So this is the very top of the pattern. I did one strand this direction and one strand this direction. And they give you a decent margin for kit fabric. That's not bad. That's probably even more than 3 inches. And this is not quite the ends, so there's probably closer to 2 inches on the edges. But for kit fabric, that's really good. Because I centered, like I folded it up and found the center, so pretty confident. There's a whole bunch more here on the bottom, so I'm pretty confident in that counting, so pretty cool. Which is why I start in the center. A lot of times for this type of pattern where I know there's a for sure corner start, it would be easy to start in the top, but since I'm using kit fabric, it's safer to just start in the middle and work up. So that's kind of why I chose that. You could measure and make sure, but just to be on the safe side, I started in the middle on all of these. And so now all of them, I believe, have reached the top. So when I pull them out, oh, and here's my needle minder that I got from Joyful Expressions. It matches my summer piece nicely. And yeah, all my crosses now have reached the top, so I can focus on working my way down. And I believe there's one of them, I don't remember which one is the farthest along. One of them, I've gotten to the point where I have like 2 rows of letters, and I've been working on the sticks at the top of the cross and some of the little bits. And so it's really fun to get to that point where I can just kind of fill in as I go down. Oh, and on Thursday as well, I worked on my Joyful Expressions pattern. His name is Jesus, and this is a free pattern when you sign up for their newsletter, and they also have other patterns for sale and needle minders. And I am doing mine on 28 count ivory Lugana with Victorian motto threads from my stash, 1/1 full crosses. So here is where how it's gotten now. And I worked on this mainly light of the world. I only had the L done last time, so I finished that. There's a little bit of backstitching there for and I altered it just slightly. There's one stitch in the E and one stitch in the F that I changed the angle so that it would look right. Because I'm stitching it over 1 on 28 count, it's super duper duper tiny. So I kind of opened up the letters a little bit to make them legible since it's so tiny. If you're doing this on something larger, it wouldn't be a problem, I don't think. Then I came over here and started this one, which I believe is Messiah, and just got a tiny start on that. So that's fun. I work on that every couple weeks with Desiree, the Addicted Stitcher. She's doing hers on, is it sparkly? I think her fabric might be sparkly. If it's not, it's at least white. And she's doing it with purple and possibly lots of different purples. So it's fun to see. And she started hers in the middle. I started mine in the corner. So it's fun to see how they're progressing when they have been started in different spots. So, oh yeah, and then my large piece for this past week was Crazy Wonderful Owl Family by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artist is Anya Kai, and I'm doing the no background version. This is a lot of fun. I was even thinking about this, that I could work on this every day for a month and not get tired. It could be a good monogamous piece because the colors make sense. They flow really well. It's not ridiculous confetti because it makes sense where your colors are placed, and they're pretty colors and they vary. And so I think this could be a good monogamous mania piece for next year, but we'll see. I always change my mind about plans for May. But this is what I worked on this week and how far I got. This is on 28 count. Picture This Plus Glacier. Let me try to fold it up. It always looks better when it's been folded because then the color of the fabric shows up nicely. So here's where I got to. I stuck with Papa Owl because that's where he is the highest point of the pattern. So if I pick my symbols like I've been doing, top to right, top to bottom, left to right, then it's up in his head. So that's where I started, and you know, got some of these ear symbols and some along the top here were the ones that were chosen. So I did a lot up here, and then some of this was yesterday that was a lot of counting, so I didn't get quite as much stitched on yesterday because of it takes longer to count far distances than it does to just fill stuff in close by. But it needs to be done eventually. So these are his pupils in his eyes. So that's fun. And this color, this dark gray, could also go over, is that what I have on my needle right now? I have something on my needle. No, I have some more purpley color on my needle now, but there was some more gray that could also go over and start some shadows on the yellow owl over here. That's my middle son. These owls represent each of us in my family. So I had to do it. So that's fun. I really enjoyed pulling that out, and I need to get that out more often because it's really fun. At some point, maybe when I finish my anniversary piece, I can bring this out once a month as a family piece because it's just really fun. I like it. All right, I think that's all I worked on this week that you haven't seen yet. So I will launch into plans and then let you go and go stitch something of your own. So my small project this week will be my Joan Elliott Edwardian Lady, because it's traditionally Joan Elliott July where people work on Joan Elliott. So I have 2 Joan Elliott patterns started. I'll work on one this week on Monday and Tuesday, and one next week on Monday and Tuesday. So this is the one I'm working on today and tomorrow, and it's on Fabric Flare Fairy Mist, I believe, 32 count. And here's my start. Just a little bit on her hat, and I believe there are still some holes actually in here that aren't stitched, but I did do a couple beads in her hat, so there's a little flower there that's beaded. So there's a little bit of holes in her hat, and then I'll get to work on her hair and maybe even her face. I don't really hold a lot of hope of getting a ton of progress because Monday and Tuesday are busier days, but I'll get something in. This fabric is really pretty. It's pinks and yellows and greens, blues. It's very pretty. And then it's Fabric Flare, so it's a printed fabric, just white on the back. So that's fun. I am looking forward to that. It is an even weave, so it's very nice to work on. I'm doing this 2/2. I don't know if I said that. All of my fancy ladies so far are 2/2. Because I was just thinking this past weekend, since when I was talking with Desiree on Thursday, we were discussing Mirabilias, and she has the Cottage Garden Fairy, which she is hoping to start at some point, but has no particular plans. Mine is all kitted up, ready to go, but it is kitted up with 28 count fabric. And it would be fine. It's really kind of a bright blue and tealy blue. I got to thinking maybe I should re-kit that with something on 32, because everything else, all of my other fancy ladies are on 32. And I love 28 count 1/1. So if I repurpose that fabric for a 1/1 project and find something maybe better suited for Cottage Garden Fairy that's a 32 count, I might be more happy. I like the bright color, but once I saw some finishes of Cottage Garden Fairy, it made me wonder if the actual called for colors of the pattern would actually not necessarily work very well on that color. So I might have to pull all the flosses at some point and see what the palette actually looks like, because sometimes it varies a little bit from the cover picture, and see if I have anything in stash. Otherwise, maybe I'll go on a fabric hunt and find something new for that one, because I think I might want to stick with 32. So anyways, my medium project, which is technically would either be classified as a small or a large, depending on how you do it, is my Advent Animals piece from Brooks Books. And this is the one that has a bunch of these little guys for all the days leading up to Christmas. And if you were to pick one of these, it would classify as a small pattern. If you were to put them all together as one project, it would classify as a large pattern. Since I wanted to do Christmas in July, I thought, and my two Joan Elliots were technically smalls according to how they fit within the sizes of my projects, I chose this one and another one that is officially a medium project to be some medium pieces in the month of July, and then I'll have something else for the larges. So it kind of worked out just the way my scheduling played to just put this in the medium spot, even though it's not technically medium. It's okay. So I'll work on this for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. And I'll probably just move along to the next one that I haven't finished yet, which looks like Peter Polar Bear. So I have finished Katie Kitty. So she's all done, #1. And I have starts on all of them because last year for Christmas in July, I started all of them. And I have more done on some than others. I did work on Peter Polar Bear for like 1 day. This is #2, is probably the one I'll work on this week. I don't know that I'll get to finish it in 2 days, but you never know. There's another one that I worked on, Odette Owl. I have a decent amount of progress done too, because I pulled her out for some challenge last year that called for something with the letter O. Everything else just has one color completed on that. Yeah, here's Odette Owl. She has a little bit more done on her too. I finished her head. But everything else is just one color completed, and then I called it good. During that Christmas in July last year, I did one of these every day for the first 25 days in July. One color on each of them. So that will be fun. I have the threads pulled out and put on cards so I can have this with me, because eventually I would like to make this a travel piece later in the school year when Flea Market Flowers is finished, and get some more of them done before Christmas. I think that would be great. So I'll work on that for 2 days and see how far I can get on Peter Polar Bear. If for some miracle I finish Peter Polar Bear, I'll just move on to the next one, which I don't remember what it is. I probably won't get there, but maybe I'll show you anyways, just in case. So here's what Peter Polar Bear will look like. It's got his sweater, the #2. There's a good amount of stitching in there. So here, this is #3, Mary Mouse. She's #3. Probably won't get to her, but just in case, I'll do a starting point. Here's where she is. Just did the dark gray on her. And all of these were scrap fabric from the 18 count Aida that I make my temperature tree kits out of. So it's light blue 18 count Aida. With just a small margin, because I'll be mounting them on cardstock or something, and then putting them on a little flip photo flip thing for doing for Christmas. So that'll be fun. My large piece this week will be tea and books, because I feel like I need to do more on it, and it's been a while. So here is Tea and Books. This is the Heaven and Art Designs by Bridget Ashwood as well. And I think they now have a no background version. Mine is the full size, not the mini. I took the background out myself because it wasn't too hard. This is also, I believe, the same designer, the same artist as the butterfly rose cross. Yes, this is also Bridget Ashwood Butterfly Rose Cross, which I didn't end up starting, but I'm taking the background out myself on this one too, just because I already had the pattern. And the way her designs look, there's usually a pretty clear distinction between the subject matter and the background. So it does make it somewhat easy to do yourself in Pattern Keeper, where you just go through and select those background colors and mark them as complete. Then you can see how much you're actually not stitching, because I think TM Books is over halfway finished now, just because I'm not stitching the background. I'm stitching this 1/1 half stitches on 40 count Vertil in a silk weaver called Days Gone By that I was gifted by Amy, the Gable Stitcher. And I have the steam finished. So this is all stitched right here. This is the steam that got placed on a nice dark patch, and then I should start in on the cup here, and there's probably a butterfly off to one of these sides. So yeah, we'll see how far I can get this weekend on those 3 days. I'm excited. I'm excited about that. To start to see some more progress. I was seeing Dawn, Frosty X Stitch, she was working on hers. It's probably been a month or two now, but she's doing the mini, and so hers is coming together a little faster than mine will, since mine is bigger, but it's looking really cool. So I want to get some more progress done on mine to start to see the teacup kind of come to life. That would be really fun. Okay, so I think that's everything I have to share with you. I noticed too, the Tour de France in Full Coverage Fanatics is ending on the 18th, which is this coming Sunday. So I will be, at some point this week, I'll make sure my waterfall in Yosemite has enough stitches and post my finished picture on that, because I'm planning to just, whatever I do my daily stitching in should equal the smallest goal in the Tour de France challenge. So I'll finish posting that one, and then starting on the 23rd, which is next Friday, I'm going to start doing some full coverage stitching for the Olympics challenge in Full Coverage Fanatics, because that's the day the Olympics start, on the 23rd of July. So I'm only going to work on Olympic stitching from the 23rd through the 31st, because the Full Coverage Fanatics challenge goes through the whole month of July, even though the Olympics go through August 8th. I wanted to do Tour de France. I wanted to do Joan Elliott July. I wanted to do Christmas in July. So I figured, well, I'll just do Olympics themed stitching during the Olympics, which don't start till the 23rd. And I'm going to work on one bingo. So it'll be a little different for me. A lot of the times when they've done bingos in the past, I've tried to get a blackout on 1 day's worth of stitching on each square. But this time I decided, no, I'm just going to stick with the bingo. So I have 5 projects picked out that will get, most of them will get 2 days, one of them will get 1 day, and it'll fill in the last 9 days of July. So that'll be fun. So I'll show you some of that next week, because that's when it will be starting. In the meantime, I'm excited to work on my Joan Elliott Lady and my Advent Animals and my TM Books. So hopefully you're having fun with whatever you've picked to work on this week. And Lord willing, I'll make it back next week. Hopefully on Monday, but we'll see. And in the meantime, happy stitching. Bye.